did it as an experiment to see what would happen. And I didn't really know the the full depth of what I was really getting into. It was amazing. Because for those who don't know, if you're in the art world, it's really hard to get in front of a curator who does shows and put shows together. I projected our clips for Brooklyn and Chicago. I had the clips living in different Ning networks and also talking back to my Facebook network, and I had that trigger off leads through an email to my iPhone. And we started getting leads and shows, and you know, just by making a simple little badge for my Ning network and putting it in my Facebook account so people could find out I was an active artist, get these things all linked up so they're all talking to each other, put in my email into my Facebook account as a default connection to my iPhone, and then I was literally wired.
That's amazing. I mean,
and I would get little alerts saying like, "Can you come to this? Can you do a show with us in Chicago? Can you tell?" You know, there's like every weekend, and I was like, "We can't do all these shows, but now, because now we got to make reproductions and stuff, and then we could probably do them." But that really works.
But look at the possibility of that you were able to get that information
Yeah.
to so many people and the right people so quickly.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. So, Ted, break this down, because a lot of my business are restaurants and people in the food industry, caterers and catering facilities. How would a restaurant really utilize the internet? I mean, they're local, okay, so you're only going to get people that are going to drive maybe 30 miles at the most to a restaurant.
Sure.
So
Sure.
there's so many different possibilities. I mean, if you know, can you kind of rattle off some of the possibilities for a restaurant?
Yeah. You know, let me tell you something. I have restaurants that I like that are my favorites. I like Wolfgang Puck's.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like going my certain. I used to like going to Uno's too. You know, until they folded up around here. You know, around here. But I have certain places, and my girlfriend's always trying to get me to go to new places. So for Valentine's Day, she took me to Table 5 over in Northville.
Oh, wow.
And that was
That's
awesome.
amazing.
Awesome. But do you think I would think it was awesome if I read a little printed ad in a directory or a Yellow Pages or a Metro Times or a small little print ad? I really couldn't tell how brilliant that place is until I actually physically went in there and checked it out. So what I suggest for a restaurant or for a caterer is to show us visually what you got and what you can do. Make like a visual menu, if you will, or a chef profile, or a bartender profile, because they got great stories. Make clips out of those, promote those for your business on the web, and let those go viral, so people can actually see what you got.
It's absolutely, I'm all about visual too, and I mean, and written is so important because written has a lot of credibility to it. People like to read things, but visually, when you get any kind of web video that really illustrates your product or service clearly and entertainingly, it's got to be powerful. I mean, you know it.
It's amazing. Kind of look at like food TV and the Travel Channel. It's basically handheld camera work sometimes. And it's very informal in a way, but it lets people into kitchens and places that you might never expect, you know.
I mean, there's so many possibilities for any kind of companies, real estate agents, restaurants, doctors, lawyers, books. There's absolutely, and there are a lot of free services, press release distribution services on the web. I mean, you have to do your due diligence and check it out and figure out the format and how to do it, so it takes some time. But there's so many possibilities, and coming up with the right angle, you can certainly utilize a publicist to help you with that and to write your story all sorts of different ways and to place it. It's just truly, it's magical in a way, even though it's a science. You know, what do you think about all this? You know, there's so many bloggers, everybody's got an opinion. It's almost like bloggers feel on a certain level they're a journalist in a way, because they have this platform and this audience to write their opinion and to write editorials. So in a way, they almost begin to feel like a journalist. And I think that's an opportunity, and I also think there's some damage control on that too.
Absolutely. Everyone has an opinion now. You know, Warhol used to say everyone's famous for 15 minutes.
Right.
Well, you can be as famous as you want now. There's no limits. And everyone has an opinion. Everyone's a critic, and everyone's online. So when you get that sort of thing happening, I mean, there's a fine line between journaling blogs and then becoming a real legitimate journalist who deals with the press, who deals with businesses on a corporate level. I mean, there's a big difference.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
When you know you're a reporter from the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal or Crain's Detroit Business, that's very different than a person who's making a statement. Not to say the person's statement isn't valid or intelligent, but you have to understand a little bit of where each person's coming from and then make up your own mind, whether or not you agree with that or don't agree with that, or you think whatever comment they're making is factual or astute in any way.
Right.
I would think, though, with all these bloggers and all this, you know, being able to have all this feedback on your website now and making it kind of Web 2.0 that you were talking about before, and now your website is not just controlled by the people inside your company, but now there's actually, it's out there, and people can respond to your products and services. That's an interesting prospect in a way, because in one way, you love the customer feedback and approach, and I think it's a great way for the owner and the executives of a company to be able to see what their customers are feeling. But you also have to kind of watch competitive bash campaigns and disgruntled employees, I would imagine.
Right.
So there's a lot of that stuff in damage control, reputation control, that I think you need a skilled person to kind of help you out.
You do. I think every company now should have a moderator. That's the new job.
A moderator.
That I think we should have more of those in companies. That actually creates the image of the company. Sort of like an image consultant for the company who does. I'm giving out new ideas here. An online image consultant or a moderator whose sole purpose is to protect the image of the company and add fuel to the fire. You know, build up the blogs, build up a community. That's really, really important. I have a lot of companies I talk to that just come up with a product out of the blue. They just think there's got to be a need for it, but they don't know that.
Right.
And then they'll set up shop. They'll borrow money. They'll create this thing, or they'll buy a building, and then they got no people.
Right.
Or worse, they don't build roadmap. They don't build a road to even find them online.
Right.
I say just the opposite. I say build your people network first.
Yes.
And then pitch them an idea. See if they go for it. Now, a lot of times, even I do different things, and I'm in like 39 different industries, and it's always amazing to me how many companies just don't do that.
That is so interesting. Build your network first, and then just see if your product and service, if your network would buy it. It's one thing for them to like it, but will they buy it? And that just makes so much sense. Ted, before you create, your facility and all your people and your zoning situation and whatever else that is the cost of doing business and manufacturing anything or servicing anything.
Going through patents.
Going through patents, which is so costly.
It's time consuming too.
So really kind of build what your thought is on the web, right? And put it out there, get the feedback.
See if there's a need for it.
See if there's a need, and I think the internet is a fabulous way to kind of focus group that, right?
Yeah, exactly, because the customers will tell you what the price point's going to be, if they're willing to pay for it or not. Taking it one step back further, a couple of generations, when Star Wars came out, it was a big deal, 1976. I was, 10 years old, and I was just enthralled with this movie. But that started as a focus group, going from comic book shows. And they had the screenwriters and the idea people would go to comic book conventions, and they would set up a table, and they'd set up a screen, so we're going to come up with a story. Would you guys see it? What do you think should happen? What would you like to see in this movie?
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.